boys and girls, and welcome back to another fun Wednesday with Mr. Price. I cannot wait to do this project with you. I want to go over the materials first, and then I'm going to show you how to build it, okay? So for this project, you're going to need a couple pieces of masking tape. You're going to need 3 styrofoam plates. You're going to need a drinking straw, and if you're working from home, you can use whatever kind you have laying around. In school, we're going to use these clear ones. You're going to need a screw, small screw. So if you're working from home, it should be a little one, okay? You'll need scissors. And finally, I have this template that we're going to use in school, but if you're working from home, once you see what these pieces are going to become, you basically can make it on your own, okay? So let's get started. So to get started, we're going to work with piece number 1, and you can see I just took it apart off the pattern sheet, okay? And I'm going to lay it right on top of my styrofoam plate. And because this is styrofoam, if I trace the pattern, it's going to show up onto the foam. So let me do that. Okay. There. And if I move that, you can see the pattern on, oh, there's a good shot, on the foam. Okay? So there's piece number 1. Now let's do piece number 2. So I'm just going to take that off. So plate number 2, lay it down. Notice I hold it like that so it doesn't slide around. And I'm going to trace it. Take your time when you trace, because once you see what we're making, the neater you do it, the better it's going to be, okay? And you're definitely going to want this project. So there's piece number 2. You can see it. And now, piece number 3 and piece number 4 go on the 3rd plate. And you could just leave them like that, really. Lay them down. And trace them. Don't press too hard. You don't want to rip the foam. Kind of drag your pencil. There. Okay. So there are piece 3 and piece 4. Now, if I were you, I would take these home with me so I have them for future projects. Okay? So that's why I don't want you to cut these apart, because I want you to be able to reuse them, okay? So once you have everything drawn out on your foam, you're going to take your scissors, and I want you to cut everything out. So I'm just gonna cut this out, and I take my time when I cut. Keep your scraps. You never know what you might want to use those for. And sometimes if you have a hard time cutting around the plate, I like to get all the chunks off first before I go around the curve. Okay? There. And if it's not perfect, you can go in. Just trim it. So piece number 1 is cut out. Let me do piece number 2. Okay, piece number 2. And now I'm going to cut out piece 3 and piece 4. So everything is cleared off, and I'm ready to start to build. Now, if you're one of the teachers in one of the other rooms, if you can just collect all the styrofoam scraps and I'll keep it and we can use it for something in the future, okay? So, I want to tell you what we're building because that way it'll help you put it together. We're going to be building a flying plane, okay? So, the straw is the body of the plane. Piece 1 and piece 2 are the wings of the plane. Piece 3 is the back of the plane. And piece 4 is a stabilizer which goes on top of the plane. This little piece is going to be used for the front of the plane to add some weight. So, there's a certain way to build it. So let me show you how to do it. That way yours will fly. Okay? Let me move the camera down and I'll show you what to do. Okay. Take the 2 wings. You put them side by side. Okay? You're going to lay the straw down. Now the wings do not go in the middle. They go up a little bit higher than the middle. Okay? So I have a little bit of straw, then the wings, and then a longer piece in the back. So I'm going to move my camera up so you can kind of get a better idea as to how I put the wings on. Do you see that? Not quite in the middle. Okay. So now what I want you to do is you're going to take tape, just a little piece like that, and you're going to lay, and oh, by the way, one thing, don't let the wings touch. There should be a little space in between, okay? Just a little tip. You're going to take your tape, lay it down onto the straw and onto the wings, and you're going to push it like that. Okay? Now, do you see what happened? The wings just flop down. They're supposed to, okay? Because if the wings are completely straight, it won't fly. You have to have a slight curve in the wings to help it gain some air. So what you're going to do is check that they flop, and they do, on mine, because I left that little space, okay? So I'm going to take another piece of tape, and on the opposite side, the side that's flip-flopped, I'm going to tape it, but just make sure that when you're taping it, you're leaving that little space right there, and you should check it. Your wing should be slightly V'd. Do you see that? That's good, okay? Now, I'm going to take some additional tape, now that I have my first 2 pieces on, and just use it as a support, okay? So I'm just going to tape it. And I'm going to go on the underside of the plane and just lock it on with a couple little pieces of tape, like that. Okay, give it a good rub. And you can obviously move your wings a little bit, but they should be up like that. Okay? Let's go to the next step. I'm going to move this off to the side, and now let's work with our next 2 pieces. If you notice, I measured this, so this fits on that back piece perfectly. Okay? So all I want you to do is just lay it down, make sure that it fits. Okay? Take some tape. Tape it on. Okay. You see how I taped it on? So here's the thing, and I just taped it. Then flip it over like you're closing a book, and put tape on this side. And then this will stand up like a shark fin, and it will be taped on the right and the left. Okay? Now when you have that done, you can obviously go back in if you want to reinforce it with 1 or 2 extra pieces of tape. But don't overdo it. You don't want to add weight to the plane, because believe it or not, the tape adds weight. Okay? So I think that's good. Now what I'm going to do is take my plane, And this goes on the back. So you want to flip your plane upside down, take the straw, and just tape it to the bottom. And by the way, just one more thing to point out, this part should be swooped back like that, like a shark fin. So when the plane is flying forward, you can see how the shark fin is going to help give it some lift. Okay? So I might put one more piece of tape on the bottom of that. Just like that. Super easy, the back part. Okay? I might have to play with that. And then finally, you're going to take the little screw. It goes into the front of the straw. And take a little bit of tape. Okay? And basically just anchor it on. I thought it was weird at first that the plane has weight added to it, but it really does help it fly. I'm going to go around the straw just to kind of anchor the tape that's holding the little screw. Okay? And now the plane is constructed. And now it's time to decorate it. So I found the best way is use a Sharpie. So in school, we can use some Sharpies if we have them. And basically what you're going to do is you're just going to add some fun designs to your plane. Ooh, let me move you down. And I'm going to put just kind of a blue stripe here, like that. And I'll do a blue stripe over here. Ooh. There. Now, obviously, I can add a lot more to it, but I think you get the point, okay? So, now it's time to see if your plane flies. But before you do, sometimes you have to fix the plane wings and maybe lower them a little or raise them. And sometimes you have to just kind of fix the back a little bit. So if your plane doesn't fly straight, you have to play with it and adjust it, okay? But I think they're gonna work. I can't wait to see them in school and give it a try. And let's see if you can fly your plane, okay? So have fun creating. This is such a fun way to use up those styrofoam plates that don't get recycled. So this is a great idea for you to make things out of things that we really shouldn't be using for the environment because they can't be recycled. And all that scrap, well, you can make little tiny pieces like this using the edge to create maybe little markers on the ground, and you can write numbers on them, and you can see how far you can get your plane to fly. Okay? So, have fun creating, have fun making your planes, and I'll see you next week. Have fun. Bye.